Hello, world,
Good.
and we're back. And this is the Healing Chefs podcast. This is Ryan, aka Crownson's Corner. Healing Chefs podcast is all about talking to each other, helping each other out, and not feel so alone. And it's spiced up with a couple of different subjects. We're trying to keep it a little tight because YouTube keeps giving us different notifications. But yeah, we have a couple different segments. But again, chef meaning chief, or coming from the word chief, chief meaning leader. Everyone that I have on here, I believe, is a leader in their own right. Today's chef is Sarah French.
Good
How?
morning.
Good morning. Yeah, for it's afternoon
Yeah.
here. Happy Monday morning, and where
I,
exactly are you at?
I'm in Miami on the Gold Coast, Australia, and it's 7 a.m. on a Monday morning.
Oh wow. Yeah, what is it right now? We are at just so everyone knows, it's like two p.m. in Arizona. It's so crazy. All right, we're time traveling, folks. Right here.
I live in the future, so if you want some hot stock tips, just holler.
Ooh. Hey, who's gonna win the game tonight? No, that's not how that works. All right. If before we jump into any segments, if you could explain to people who you are, what you do. I know you do a bunch of different things,
You
but
like a whole bunch.
yeah, go ahead.
So I am a chef, a wellness advocate, and I'm the hostess with the mostest. Basically, I'm out here in Australia. I do private events, catering. I was a super yacht chef there for a while, and when living in Sydney, had a really huge successful catering company. So we spent a lot of time hosting events and being in that space, cooking up storms, eating delicious food, sailing around in the world on super yachts, private jets, all the things. And now I've integrated after quite the explosive expose in Sydney, have gone more into the natural wellness, holistic living, and I've integrated a health coaching and nutritional advisory into my repertoire. So that is where I'm currently at, living on the sunny Gold Coast, helping people be happy, healthy, and healed through natural modalities and using food as medicine.
Absolutely. I see a lot of your videos and talking about a bunch of different healthy ways, different snacks and meals and stuff like that. That's much appreciated, especially for myself nowadays. I've been working out more and changing my diet and eating way cleaner. Um,
Mm.
yeah, and you can tell not only like you start losing weight, but your skin starts looking better. Things start,
Oh,
all sorts of stuff. But we can
and
go.
it's at that point you wonder how you're even still alive after your 20s and 30s. You're like, how are we even still here?
Yeah, after a slow bit of change, I'm like, I don't know how people survive on this other kind of food. I'm like, you guys are. I just want to run to everybody. You're dying, like you're all dying.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's so
gotta be.
interesting.
I kind of have one mode. Once I go and do something, it's go go go. So I'm trying not to make my my journey everybody else's and be like, you got to work out now. Well, where were you like a couple months ago or whatever? So not judging anybody. Everyone's in their own pace. But let's go ahead and jump into our first segment, which is cannabis journey. So cannabis journey is all about like how you found cannabis and where we're at with it now. A lot of people, some guests recently have even used cannabis because of their digestive issues.
Mm.
I use it for myself. Well, I have PTSD. Also, I have a lot of knee and back issues and different things from. Uh, why is that? Oh, I'm sorry. I just hear a lot of background noise. Was that a
Oh,
plane?
there's an aeroplane. There's
You're
an
good.
aeroplane.
You're good. But yeah, I use cannabis and stuff, especially the CBD and stuff for my knees and stuff from bad back from the army and whatnot. Do you use cannabis and stuff in your teachings or in your daily life? I know Australia, cannabis. I don't know.
Well, things are changing rapidly here, and interesting because I am currently on a prescription for cannabis oil. So I started off on CBD oil, and that was for hip and joint pain to help me sleep and to assist with some post-military PTSD that I um, suffer from. Used to be in the military. So cooking in the Navy, that's where all that started. So it's accessible here, and it's really quite potent as well.
Ah,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
so I started off on the CBD with no THC,
Yep.
and now I've sort of upgraded to a tiny bit of THC,
Okay.
which has a different impact, as you would know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it's getting out there. The gummies. I think we started chatting probably 6 to 8 months ago, and it wasn't a thing. Like when I
Right.
was connecting in with you, it really wasn't up and
No.
running. But now there's dispensaries, and
That's
it's happening.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy because I was talking to your friend Emily at the time, and it was very,
yes.
very not okay. Uh,
Yeah, not okay, not happening. So
so
the government
quickly.
obviously found a way to make money off of it.
Ah,
Bless them. So,
that'll do it.
that's where we're at.
Government, government got their. They're like, all right, we can get. That's what I'm seeing a lot of. So this is that's crazy that that's happening there. Here I'm seeing a lot of in especially on Instagram and stuff, YouTube, everywhere. They are cracking down on a lot of different cannabis posters and stuff like that. I feel it's because the government and the companies that are soon to take over once they legalize and stuff like that are starting to try to take back their land. And they're like, okay, you can't have this, you can't do this and stuff like that, and trying to control that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's crazy that it happened so quick in Australia. How have you seen any effects of the legalization or at least the decriminalization or whatever's going on? And I
I
have to look.
don't I think for me personally, because I've not really, I'm just moving inside so we can avoid the aeroplaneness.
You're good.
I think for me personally, I haven't really noticed it too much because
Mm,
I've never been in that cannabis dominant world.
right.
So, but I have noticed now that there are many, many, many people now on prescription cannabis, and they're seeing the benefits, and it's really helped change their lives, which is
Nice.
great.
What,
Uh,
I'm sorry. What I would like to see is something that more education here as well as there is when we're getting these people, especially like elderly people, medication and stuff. Maybe we don't need to have everything laced with sugar. Uh, and
yeah,
you know what?
absolutely.
Because some of these people are also on the early stages or may end up developing dementia and all sorts of stuff. And sugar is absolutely the worst. And sugar in your brain is Alzheimer's, all that kind of stuff. It's all. Um, but yeah, gummies and everything that's been the future. But there was a brand that here and something to look out for maybe to add to chef's repertoire is Life is Chill out here has like a liposomal. I'm saying the wrong words probably, but a liquid that you squeeze into your drink and it immediately
Oh,
goes into there. It mixes. You don't taste it or anything like that, and it's bioavailable already as its
oh, great.
molecule to mimic something that's already in your body, so your body accepts it instead of fighting it. Like when you get these big, edibles and stuff like that, and the sugar and stuff as as a chef and trying to help people with their wellness,
Yeah.
your body can't even process all that stuff. It has to go through all the sugar and stuff first before it can kind of get to the healing properties. So, have you noticed after being a chef on your jet set lifestyle, with it growing more and more to a natural, more clean health style in Australia as well as I've seen start over here?
Sorry, what was the question?
I'm sorry. have you have you noticed as a population, everyone's starting to recognize that
Oh,
the food is poison?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And I think America has definitely led the way in highlighting how sad the standard American diet, uh,
Ugh.
how how sad our eating habits had become, and how much impact factory farming and the way that we produce food and process foods and sugar has
Yep.
played a pivotal role in how sick we are actually becoming as I can't even say a nation. We're really one world now.
Yeah.
So as a world, and sugar, the heavy metals in the products that we put on and in our bodies, the pharmaceuticals, it's like the holy trinity of toxicity. You've got the food, you've got the drugs, and you've got the chemicals or the personal care. So these big multinational corporations have really quite cleverly interwoven convenience into our lifestyles, by where we've sacrificed our health and happiness and wellness for quick fixes
Mhm.
in the food space, to smell good, to look good, all for a very superficial cause, or in the promise of being guaranteed more time and having a better life, when actually impacting negatively over time. The impacts have compounded, and we're seeing such devastating results in people's health. Cancer is a but it can it's everybody knows someone with cancer now.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that Alzheimer's, or it's this thing now that, oh, when you're old you just get Alzheimer's, like it's the norm, but it's
Yeah.
not normal. So I
Mm-mm.
think these conversations are really quite important, that we need to start having conversations about how those things are maybe the norm and what's happening, but they're not normal uh,
Mm.
circumstances of aging, and just in that space, the eating, the lifestyle. I'm 42 now, and I look and feel better and more amazing than ever before. And that is really as a product of switching off the old way of living and eating, which was, like I grew up on rice bubbles. I don't know if you know what rice bubbles are,
Not at
but
all.
they're kind of like Wheaties. I
Okay.
guess you guys have Wheaties, and like Cheerios, and with sugar and milk,
Okay.
and that's what we used to start our day on.
Yeah,
Uh,
a lot of people like frosted flakes or the corn flakes with sugar
yes,
all
with
over
the
them.
tiger on the box.
And cereal's a lie. I find out when as an adult that cereal is a lie because cereal was
Oh,
created to keep people from touching themselves. That's real. So there was a health and wellness retreat that I believe it was the Kellogg's brothers had, and this is all verifiable. You can look this up. And they were trying to control people's health and wellness and mind and all this kind of stuff with these getaways, and they had some of the wildest ideas of what would help. And they took the brand and stuff, and or what the stuff for I'm sorry for the cornflakes, and they created cornflakes from like molded and dried out stuff and everything, and they used it to try to help people like from touching themselves, which is absolutely
wow.
yeah. So all of this stuff is based on lies. When people go, here's another one. Here's a one that's right in front of your face. Okay, you think you're doing something. You're like, oh, vegetable oil. All right, you don't
Oh,
even know it's soybean oil. Just
yeah.
of it. Like they've been like you may think you're, "Oh, I'm getting oil from vegetables." Like you're getting it's just soybean oil.
You're getting hexane, you're getting a lot
Oh,
of hydrochloric sort of style chemicals. It's the process in which those vegetables or seeds have to go through to get to the oil stage. is so diabolical.
Yeah, some of
And
this stuff was made to be like engine lubricants. Like,
yeah. And this is what I keep trying to say to people. I'm like, if we liken the body to that of a car, a Mercedes, you're not, you go to the mechanics, we regularly check up on the car, we put certain engine oil in certain cars, we put diesel in a four-wheel drive, we put, a regular fuel in a car, so the cars are fueled properly and they're oiled properly. Could you ever imagine putting canola oil into your car and expecting the engine to run optimally and not completely break down?
I thought about it when I was broke. But definitely not gonna work. That's
Yeah,
yeah. You're gonna hurt the car, obviously, or hurt your body.
absolutely. And even sugar in the tank, like it's an old thing, if you wanted to ruin somebody's day and furthermore their lives, you put sugar in the tank of a car and it completely stops up the engine.
Mm. Yeah, you're right. Awesome. Yeah. So everyone, I don't know what the answer is because soon enough it'll be illegal to grow your own food. That's why you can maybe do it. Don't let the government
Ooh.
know. But
I
let's.
heard something about this, and I was in such disbelief that that was actually a thing.
Oh, I was joking, but I guess I'm serious.
Well, it's coming.
Well,
I
yeah,
think it's coming. I think you're onto something there.
yeah. I think here's what I think. They're gonna start trying to charge us a carbon footprint bullshit tax. And then us trying to grow food is going to be detrimental to the environment, and we're not going to be allowed to do that. Then we're going to have to eat manufactured steak, 3D printed
Oh,
steak.
grown in a lab.
We're all fucked. But me being a chef and you knowing, I forgot the actual what it's called, but there's meat glue. All right. So even in
Mm,
culinary school,
that's
they taught us that they do this, right? They take other cuts of meat and glue it together, and then make it look like another steak. Then they cut that, and that's now a ribeye. But then you cook it wet, and it wasn't even close to it. But uh,
mm, and
even
it's
in
double the price.
and in culinary school, we actually made some and cooked it, and I wouldn't even eat it then because it just like I'm sure I've eaten plenty of this stuff, but it just didn't make sense to me that the meat glue that I use to glue that meat together, then to put inside my body isn't gonna just stay in there because inside of me is meat, right? Like so I'm like this doesn't make any sense. So we're all screwed. I don't know. I don't even know if vegetables aren't even healthy anymore. They got a peel on them, and I don't know.
Mm.
But speaking of vegetables, let's jump into the next segment, which is trip tales.
Oui.
All right, and Trip Tales is all about psychedelic experiences and whatnot. Now, here in the U.S., I don't know if you've seen or heard, the FDA has given a nod to a compound known as the tofu-like psychedelic, meaning it's kind of more mild in its approach and therapy and whatnot. It is an offshoot of 5-MeO, which 5-MeO DMT is a super compound. But 5-MeO, it's I forgot what the rest of it is, but they are calling it Moxie. Um, they're going to start trials and stuff on that. But good steps. It's not the only thing that those people plan to make. But is our is our what's going on in Australia? Obviously, when I was tapped in before with the cannabis, it's changed up exponentially. So, what's going on with psychedelics?
So, this is something that I am aligned with and familiar with at this point in my life.
Okay.
Definitely have experienced the magic of psychedelics in more recent times. I don't know what is going on at a government level, but I do know
I'm having
that
a hard
they
time. Yeah, real quick.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
is
yep.
that better?
Yeah, that's better. There we go.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, it's personally, I am noticing the influx in the usage of psychedelics.
Okay.
And especially, I guess, since there was a documentary brought out recently by, it was called Dosed, I think, with Gabor Mate, highlighting the benefits of microdosing with mushrooms and the like. So I think that brought about awareness to its correlation with treating PTSD and depression. So there's that. I think they're more readily available. I notice. I'm not quite sure what's going on at a government level because me and the government, even though I used to be in the military, we're not really friends anymore. Um, but but yeah, a lot of people are actively in supplying with the the psychedelics. So I don't know to what capacity that is. It's very undergroundish, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of
starting.
using of the mushroom emoji to sort of make allusions to what's going on there. So
Fair
it's
enough.
happening, and I'm sure the government will be at a stage at some point where they've
They're ready to
felt the
capitalize on it.
as with the cannabis use as well.
Yeah, I see that. As soon as you get a plan to make some money behind it or tax it or something, then things come through. And one of the things with us, there's just so many different things they're starting a lot of research, and hopefully that starts to happen for Australia as well. Do you have any experience yourself with psychedelics or working with any of that?
I mean, do you get a smile this big without knowing the magic of psychedelics? I think not.
Fair enough.
Uh, yeah, no, I've had three separate experiences with psychedelics, and literally changed my life. The first was, I think it was a trip I did about 5 years ago. And I was a little unsure because everyone's like, oh, you don't want to be like driving down the road and then pretend kangaroo jumps out at you and it's stuck in your spine for years. And I had all this like dodgy data that people's opinions. So it was nothing short of miraculous. And I honestly felt like I had connected in to the mainframe and downloaded the code. And it was just a constant download and stream of information and likened to that of, do you get into Abraham Hicks?
No, but what you're describing to me is the Akashic records. Do
Oh.
you know about the Akashic records? So the Akashic records are supposedly what we can all tap into. It is all information of all time. It's like the internet of everything. The
Mm.
Akashic records, if you tap into it, you can know your past lives, your future, your all sorts of different things. And I think that's what's tapping into that. But you were saying like an Abraham? I don't.
Yeah, well, Abraham Hicks she channels consciousness. Her name's Esther Hicks. She's from America, I think, actually, maybe somewhere around where you guys are at. And she taps into this consciousness. It's just a stream of consciousness and ideas and information and downloads. And it felt very similar to the information that I'd heard her shared on YouTube.
Mm,
Avid fan. But yeah, more recently, it was around Easter. So Good Friday, I aligned with the Shroomies. And it was really quite interesting because that period, it was on a spiritual scale, everything was happening. There was something going on with the moons, and it was Easter, Good Friday. The Muslims were celebrating Ramadan. And it was just like this cataclysmic explosion and expansion of spirituality. So
wow.
I dived into that journey. And again, once again, just life brightens, the ego subsides, and you really get to just feel the warmth and love and connection and magic of the universe, and really get clear on the shit that doesn't matter. And just it's such a really beautiful experience. And I feel, in a world that's so heavily medicated and depressed and sad, and we've got suicide happening and domestic violence and all of these crazy events that are born of, I guess, unhealed, emotionally imbalanced, or emotionally ill-equipped humans. This particular substance, marinating its way through the body and the psyche to give a different perspective and release some of those negative emotions, and give a different perspective. It's such a powerful tool that I feel it should be readily available and accessible to everyone. As I think microdosing on mushrooms, as opposed to, say, all the Ritalin and the dexamphetamines and everything that's being prescribed for ADHD and behavioral issues, or the depression drug, the Zoloft, all the antidepressants and antipsychotics that are currently in circulation and being eaten like Smarties. The mushrooms are less invasive, or the psychedelics less invasive, are of the earth and are not required in abundance on a daily basis for extended periods. So from that perspective, it just makes a whole lot more sense. But from a pharmaceutical company who's making billions and zillions of dollars off these drugs, it makes zero sense. So that's where the worlds collide, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely it, because the medical system wants you sick, not healed, not dead, but sick. So you
That's
keep
sick and
coming
nearly
back.
dead.
Yeah, because they need you to keep coming back, just like any other drug dealer. They need to keep you addicted, to keep coming back. But it's in all of our society and all things. Everything is built for obsolescence nowadays. Nothing is built to last, because they want it to break, so you buy the next one and the new one, and we update all this different things and stuff. But that's psychedelics help us sit back and go, oh, this is all, for lack of better words, this is all bullshit. This is created within our own minds and stuff. And once we, like, especially when I take psychedelics and step outside, I'm like, oh yeah, now I don't worry about kangaroos, but that is something to worry about there. But I don't worry about any of that kind of stuff. Once I get outside and I'm tripping, is actually the thing that usually saves me if I'm having a bad trip, because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is actually, I'm part of this, not whatever the hell I was just inside
Mm.
the man-made constructs all around me. You know what I mean?
So true.
So
It was
yeah.
interesting. I was having an experience on that exact trajectory, and it was daylight. We were by the pool. We were psychedelic up, and it just gives you this really like free, expansive sort of vibe. And I had my eyes closed and I'm dancing around, and I just felt like a rubber band. And my mind was like, oh, chill, you're going to fall over and hurt yourself. And then I'm like, no, just trust the universe, and let the,
Yeah.
let the earth hold you, as woo-woo as that sounds. But it did, and it does, and that is what it's designed to do, that we are of it, and it is there to support us in the invisibleness, in the space, in the manifested reality of it. And I think the external construct, the buildings, the this, the that, the products, all the other bullshit, as you so well articulated, it is just that.
Yeah.
It's boxed up and it's labeled, and it's a product manufactured for the sale to humans for profit. So none of it's actually necessary.
No.
Air, water, other humans, our connection, our life, our living in nature. And we've come so far away from that it almost seems like that's a luxury now. So I think the consciousness is definitely shifting, especially here on the Gold Coast. Like
No.
I've lived in Sydney and I was down in Tassie for a bit, and now living here, the level of consciousness and awareness and integration of that new world 5D paradigm shift here, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
Very, very noticeable by comparison to any other city I've visited or lived in
Wow.
Australia wide.
Wow, that's dope to hear. I really feel with the psychedelics and everyone's trying to slowly waking up and stuff like that. Here, before we go into our next segment, I want to put this out there. So Jim Carrey said at one point in time that if you're not willing to step back, then you're too worried about what other people think of you. Like so, like say if you're living in a mansion, if you're not willing to sell that mansion and live in a regular home, then you're too worried about what people think of you. Now, I take that, and with that, I change. I expand on that with our consciousness, right? If you're not willing to take a step back and listen to anybody else's opinion and stuff, are we really ever going to grow if we're sitting in our own echo chamber? Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely not.
So there's time that I believe that we all need to, in our own spirituality or psychedelic or whatever you want to call it, need to sit back and start listening to other people and other opinions, because that will get us to where we're going instead of doing the same thing that we're doing over and over, which will keep us in the same spot that we're in.
Absolutely. And if you're somewhere where you don't want to be, you got yourself there. So it's very, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
True.
And I think you make such a great point. What's coming up for me now, it's so interesting. Like I considered, and it's still part of the process of selling all of my things and going around Australia in a van. And it's a thing here. Like people do these things, but there's even in my enlightened magicalness, the humanness is still here, and the fear of doing something that monumental is still quite wildly alive in my humanness. So it's interesting that the draw of the outside world is so loud. So we have to really sit and acknowledge how much influence the external world has on us. So if we're aligning with certain messages and certain noises, we're wise to choose that and choose in to connect with the proper people that are living the lives that we want to live and having a positive message or a different message than where we are currently. Because if you're not expanding, you're contracting. And we're never staying the same. We're either getting better or we're getting worse. So I think that people have to continue to upgrade, listen to others, seek truth, seek light, seek knowledge in others, because if we relied so heavily on ourselves, we would be where we wanted to be. And, as Robert Frost says, no man is an island, right? So
Absolutely.
We need each other. Right. That's how we thrive.
Absolutely. But also you don't want to, too much outside influence can get you to leading yourself down the wrong path. But with that, we'll go ahead and jump into, you got to be careful, not all things are great. But
yes, not all that glitters is gold.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump just real quick into mental health as wealth. And All right. So, again, expanding on psychedelics is the cannabis and whatnot. Mental health. We are all trying to get by nowadays. It's rough here in America. We have a lot of different things that keep us all separated. They're trying to, constantly get us separated. It's a tough time, but with the proper steps, you can help yourself, help others around you. Mental health, talk about some things, but I find more and more nowadays. Again, the echo chamber. Be careful of that. Is just finding some other people with some different opinions and stuff. Not maybe don't just listen to everyone that tells you exactly what you want to hear. Um, how is it going? It's crazy here in America, as everyone knows.
Mm.
How is the mental health struggle in Australia?
I it,
Oh,
it's a it's on the same trajectory. I think it's collectively worldwide
waking up.
consciousness that it's a thing, especially after the threat of COVID, and that was the pandemic or whatever it was called.
Great
It
awakening.
was the Great Awakening.
Mm.
It really showed humanity. It also sort of sowed different seeds in different fields, so to speak. And I think collectively, mental health has come to the surface after that massive collective awakening or whatever it was. So I think America's a very unique animal in that the beast of America and the politics and the media, and without getting into all of that and like getting
Yeah.
cancelled before I'm
Oh, I
even.
can't be canceled. I mean, they can
um,
restrict me on YouTube, but I can't be canceled.
yeah. So you like American politics is world politics, and America sort of lead the way in the West, but America is next level with everything. So I feel when I see homelessness and drug abuse or drug use and poverty and depression in America by comparison, it's still very bad in both countries. But
Mm.
I feel Australia is a little more blessed because we have free healthcare, we have access
Mm.
to services and the like with the mental health structure and our Medicare system, you get 10 free sessions with a psychologist straight off the bat from the government on a Medicare health mental health plan. And I may be ridiculed for highlighting that as a positive, but I think that's a step in the right direction for us. So for those seeking help, there are starting services. For those who don't feel like they have a choice or have help, there's always that debaucher there by where people are feeling more isolated due to social media and comparison. And we've come so far in society that there's this abundance of resources and money and options and choice. And that can sort of translate quite paradoxically because with all of that, there's this real disconnect in what is important: mental health, connection with real people,
Mm.
the importance of proper nutrition, moving our bodies. So all of these health fundamentals and that makes the baseline for being mentally well sometimes have gotten swept up in the minutiae and the tornado of technology. So it's interesting to observe. I myself have suffered mental health issues. I've been to rehab. I've been, in a mental wellness facility,
Mm.
aka rehab. And
It's good
rehab
to
is
talk
not
about these things.
trendy.
Who cares? That's the whole point of this podcast is because I checked myself in 2 years ago to the VA because I was having problems, and that's the whole
Mm,
point of this whole thing is to be able to talk about these things because so many people are scared and hide themselves and those parts of their lives. But maybe us talking about it will actually reach someone that's scared or feels alone. That's what this is about.
Oh, absolutely. And it's interesting, when I was in rehab, the it wasn't called rehab, it was a mental wellness clinic, and everyone was in there for different reasons.
Mm.
Some stressed out mothers, depression, drug use, eating disorders. The thing that I got really clear on whilst I was in rehab was that it doesn't matter what your vice is or how that disconnect transmutes into the physical world. It's the same sort of emotional thread and disconnect from the inside out. So whilst some people were using sex and drugs and shopping and gambling to numb the pain of their discord, we were all it was all flowers stemmed from the same seed. And so that was an interesting connection for me to make, that mental health issues look different for everyone, but the struggle internally is very real and very similar for all of us. We're all trying to numb some sort of pain when it, with addiction especially. And addiction is born of mental health. And I guess too, in a world where we're living with so much external noise, silence is golden, but to some people it can be quite deafening. So to realign back with how to create really solid mental wellness in a sea of and a barrage of information that tells us that mental health looks like a Ferrari and a Patek watch and a yacht and, all of these things. It's actually the complete opposite. And I think we've been spun a very big lie about what happiness is and how it's obtained. That
I think
that's yeah.
I think that's a really good point. As I've been going to my new job and whatnot, and I drive to work, and I'm watching all these people drive crazily and stuff, and especially I've seen more and more lately the people with the expensive cars, the Lexuses, the all the Ferraris or whatever it is, and they're the ones getting really upset and
Yeah.
the puppy.
And there's this sense of
No, they're getting
entitlement.
yeah, and that's the point I was trying to get, is like we're all somehow entitled, and even when we go to therapy afterwards, we have a sense of entitlement. Like, I have this issue, you need to give me space because I have this issue. Even myself, I'm learning this within my own self. My PTSD is like, yeah, people can understand that, but there's a limit. You know what I mean? Because not like everyone is going through their own shit, right? So
Absolutely.
trying to be like, hey, I'm going through my shit. You have to address mine and mine alone, and I don't have to address yours, is absolutely the wrong way. And it's kind of how the way I lived my life for quite a while. It's that I'm learning in my own therapy and my own progression in life as I mature, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. So just know that maybe if you're not happy with the place that you're in, maybe eventually you're going to get to that place, but you have to be the one behind it, and you have to understand that other people are going through shit too. So quit acting like the only one. Be a little bit more understanding, less entitled, and quick key, like number one thing that I've just like one of the things that I want to start implementing in my life is keeping score. Uh,
Yes.
give more than you get, but quit keeping score on who's giving what and what you're giving out and stuff like that, because that kind of shit in my own life for the past months, weeks, years has just driven me absolutely crazy. I'm tired of keeping track. I'm trying to be like, this person's trying to hurt me, or like, I'm just going to do what I do and I help people and stuff like that, but I'm not going to stop keeping count. But we are running a little low, so let's go ahead and jump into our last segment, which is plug talk. You can go ahead and plug yourself, and then get out whatever else that you didn't say already. But plug talk. All right, sorry.
We both got caught mid-stretch there.
Okay, so Plug Talks again is all about promo. Tell them where to reach you at and anything that you have going on. I know you were recording lately, doing a little like cooking show and stuff, but let them know.
Yeah, so my handle is the Brecky Babe, spelled Breaky. I have a wellness, nutrition, cooking Instagram and YouTube channel. So a lot of content being produced currently to be launched in the coming months. I started filming a little segment called OnlyPans. Obviously, I got asked a lot what my OnlyFans was, and I'm like, dudes, I do not have an OnlyFans, but I will make you an OnlyPans. And as I come back into this, pardon?
That's a norm nowadays. Hey, how you doing? What's your OnlyFans?
Yeah, it's like forget about Snapchat. What's your OnlyFans?
Shit, that was bad. That's still bad.
Yeah. It's like if a guy is asking me for my Snapchat, like, bye, exit stage left. I don't know what's worse, Snapchat or OnlyFans.
I honestly, right now, I'm not part of any one of those, so I couldn't tell you. But
yeah,
good luck to y'all.
Yeah, and respect to those who can and have made millions.
Hey, do your thing. Take their money.
But exactly. But yeah, OnlyPants was sort of born of the premise that all you really need is a bit of a plan and a pan to be healthy and happy and live that high voltage life. So scaling back on the simplicity of happier, healthier habits and building on from that. So that's what I bring to the Brecky Babe. It's the secret ingredient to life's recipe for real success. And secondary to that, I run a conglomerate of or a collection of boutique Airbnbs throughout Australia called thetreasurechest.co. So if you are in Australia and you're looking for somewhere fabulous, unique, boutique and chic to stay, I host a variety of listings, retreats, wellness workshops, the whole 9 yards. And that is all coming through in a big umbrella called the Secret Food Society, which is launching later on this year. So 3 little projects happening at simultaneously, but all sort of with the same thread: simplicity, sophistication, and optimizing your health and wellness through basic, simple habit stacking on the daily.
I love that because I feel like more nowadays people are a little intimidated to cook and make their and get food.
Oh, I lost you.
I'm still here. Hello. Hello.
I can't hear you.
Oh no, I can see you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh no.
You can't hear me? So I guess that's it. So all right. I guess thank you for coming. Make sure to tap in, smoke up, trip out. I guess we're done. So, but all right. I guess bye. Are we back? Hello? You there? Are you there? No? Okay. All right. Tell everybody bye. We gotta go. All right. Bye.
I can't hear you.
You can hit the end. Oh, you can just end the recording. Thank you. Have a good.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?